Icon, so it's louder, James. I'd like to welcome everybody today to the full commission day, the Tennessee Fish and Wildlife Commission. I'm Kurt Holbert. I'll be conducting the meeting. And if you will all stand for the pledge and the invocation, I'm going to ask Commissioner Connie King to lead us in a prayer and the pledge.
Right decisions for our state. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, I'd like to welcome everyone today. We do have a few special guests. Hopefully you're all on this list. The Tennessee Wildlife Federation, we got Andrew Peercy and J.W. Wortham. We got Emma Williams and Caleb Lindsay from the Tennessee Scholastic Clay Target Program. Mr. Ron Crabtree, Quail Unlimited. Sam Crabtree, which is Ron's grandson. Glad he joined us today. And the one and only great Tammy Woods, who is Commissioner Tommy Woods' wife. Chauffeur, boss, and we're glad she joined us this morning. Danette, would you call the roll, please?
Dennis Gardner. Here. Jimmy Granberry. Here. Steve Jones. Here. Connie King.
Here.
Jim Ripley.
Here.
Tony Sanders.
Here.
James Stroud. Here. Kent Woods. Tommy Woods.
Here.
Hank Wright.
Here.
Angie Box. Brian McLaren.
Here.
Kurt Holbert.
Here.
Chairman, we have a quorum.
Thank you, Danette. All of you on your iPads or in front of you have a copy of the minutes from December's meeting. Did I hear a motion for approval? Got a motion from Gardner and a second from Sanders. For approval, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Motion carried. Director Carter, you got anything before we get started? All right. If not, I'm going to let you come on up. I think you've got a special presentation to make.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As it says on the agenda there, we'd like to make some special recognition to people who have done outstanding work and have worked with the agency in many ways. And today it is going to be Ron Crabtree. That's a name I know that everybody in here on the commission knows. He's at more commission meetings than some staff, and we've appreciated that. Most of the time, you know, he's associated with quail, and you know how excited he gets on the opening day of quail season. So, as a matter of fact, on the first day of the season, Ron went out to hunt with a brand new over and under shotgun. On the second day of the season, he took some high brass number 8s and a brand new over and under shotgun. On the third day of the season, he shot himself in the foot, which left a cartridge in a Crabtree. So, well, get what you pay for. Ron, it really has been a fixture at most of our meetings throughout the time. Been proud to call him a friend for a number of years, which is I thought I could get away with that. And he's known a lot for his outreach programs and all the education programs he's been associated with, but most often associated with the effort to restore bobwhite quail. And as president of the Music City chapter of Quail Forever, he's worked tirelessly with the members of that club to promote habitat, recreation, outreach efforts to the youth, wounded warriors, and the public at large. He also used the information that he gleaned to squelch rumors or misinformation and bring a positive outlook on restoration efforts and the management plans that he and the agency and the various people and components of those programs have put together. And to further the communication side of all of that, Ron created a website for Music City Quail, which listed events, programs, successes, and a variety of informational messages that were posted on a regular basis. There were also social events, including the hunts for the youth and others, but also fundraisers, which were used to the fullest extent to further the mission of the club. They also used those funds to help buy needed equipment and supplies on Bart Camp, Barron's Wildlife Management Area, and others, and to help cost share the project for Quail Forever TWRA field biologists that focused on quail, especially with private landowners. And he was a champion of pollinator plots, which not only enhanced the habitat for quail, but numerous other wildlife species as well. And needless to say, it made the place prettier too. Ron's individual efforts didn't go unnoticed by those outside Music City Quail or the TWRA. The iconic outdoor magazine Field and Stream at their Conservation Heroes Gala in Washington, D.C. recognized Ron as a finalist for the National Heroes of Conservation Award. In summary, the Music City chapter of Quail Forever and the TWRA have enjoyed a close working relationship, enhanced communications, stakeholder input, and they've put in place projects that not only furthered quail restoration, but also brought focus on our mutual efforts. Well, those successes obviously don't occur without a dedicated leader who possesses good people skills and the commitment to give the time necessary to see those initiatives through. Ron has stepped down now as the president of the chapter and leaves quite a legacy behind him, and I wish luck to the person coming in. But the Fish and Wildlife Commission and Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency are very pleased today to recognize Ron Crabtree for his tireless efforts. So. Ron, if you'd come up, please. Mr. Chairman, if you wouldn't mind joining me down here. Ron, these are quail. You probably don't know what they look like, but
While they come in, he mentioned that little thing in Washington, D.C., and a lot of you have been to those events, and they ask you you get swag, and they ask us to bring something or give something from representatives from the state of Tennessee. So I did. I got somebody to donate, a company to donate something, and I asked Director Carter if he would pay for having it shipped. He said, "Why, sure." And when he got the bill for it, he said a bunch of other things. I didn't go into a lot of boring detail, but the company that was giving something was Lodge Manufacturing, who manufactures cast iron skillets. You remember that one?
I do. Two roses and a thorn in the middle. Hold that, that would be great.
Let me get my security up here.
All right, I'm going to call on Assistant Director Chris Richardson to give us an update on the legislative session.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. Apologize first for the typo on your agenda. I believe it says an update to the 112th General Assembly, which would be quite difficult to do considering it doesn't convene until January of 2021. We are, in fact, in the second year of the 111th General Assembly, and they are back in session. Bill file cutoff will be February 5th, and at that point, we'll somewhat know what our universe of legislation that we'll be addressing this year and what will impact the agency and what won't. A few notable pieces of legislation that we know are coming forward this year. One that may impact the agency is there will be a bill concerning boat titling and whether or not the state of Tennessee should require boats to be titled. We're one of few states that don't have some form of titling, and that's an issue that has kind of been circulating for several years. Director Carter can probably tell you the first time boat titling was brought up in Tennessee, but it has been a hotter topic over the last couple, and it appears that they are going to introduce some legislation to that effect, and certainly the agency will have to be involved. Other than that, there really is no pieces of legislation that have been filed. I know we are considering some. There will be some tweaks perhaps to, there's one bill filed relative to the landowner exemption that we'll have to address. I've heard that there may be some legislation relative to baiting that we'll have to address. So we're going to have a busy session, but at the same time, it appears from those that are in power, the Lieutenant Governor announced that his target end date for the 111th General Assembly is April the 12th, which is a pretty aggressive time frame. But generally, when the Lieutenant Governor announces an end date, they don't miss it by more than a week. So I would look for a mid-April adjournment. So we're going to get busy and get our work done quick and go home. One other date of note that we have set that I want to make you all aware of and mark your calendars, April the 8th, the Legislative Sportsman's Caucus dinner will be held, same place we held it last year at the Music Hall of Fame underneath the Municipal Auditorium. Certainly the commission will be invited and encouraged to attend that. It'll be a good time for you all to visit with some members of the General Assembly and an event that was very well attended last year and put on by our Wildlife Resources Foundation. So, Mr. Chairman, that is basically an update of where we are. I will certainly have a much more in-depth update for you in February, including lists of bills that have the potential to impact the agency. As soon as those come in and we have a complete list, I'll get them to you and we can discuss them and go over them in more detail at the February meeting.
Thanks, Chris. Any questions for Chris? Jim?
Well, I just wondered with the bill, and I realize this is probably premature, but I just thought I'd ask. In terms of its effect on us, would that affect us at all? I can't see where it would.
As we stand here right now, what our position, the TWRA would not take a position on what the policy for the state of Tennessee is on whether or not to title. We're going to stay neutral and not engage on that first question. Now, if the state says we're going to title, then we need to be involved from an administration standpoint. I think it's critical that the same agency that is responsible for registrations also do the titling so that there's no confusion. So that's kind of where we'll become involved. We won't be involved in the discussion of whether or not we should title, but if the state looks like they are making a decision that we're going to title boats, the agency is going to have a very active role in the administration of that titling program.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thanks, Chris. All right, I'm going to call on Andrew Peercy, Tennessee Wildlife Federation. His compadre, JW, may talk too. So.
Thank you, Commissioner and Chairman. Good morning. My name is J.W. Worthen, and I'm the Director of Programs with the Tennessee Wildlife Federation. Those programs include Scholastic Clay Target Program, Hunting and Fishing Academy, and Hunters for the Hungry that you may have heard of. It's my pleasure to be here today to share you some updates this year about Tennessee SCTP, but I also want to talk a little bit how important Tennessee SCTP has been, not only in the shooting sports world, but really across many other fronts across the state and the country. And that ripple effect that has taken place since Tennessee SCTP's inception has really been amazing. But before we get into today's presentation, I want to give a quick update on our special guest speaker from last year. Since Emily Ferguson spoke, many of you have asked me about her through the year, and were inspired by her. So I'm pleased to announce that in February, she finished up her chemo treatments at St. Jude. just in time for the trap season. And in May and June, she qualified for a spot to participate in the Junior Olympic International Bunker Competition in Colorado Springs. And then Emily came to our Tennessee SCTP state competition in Nashville, and she shot a 99 out of 100 and placed second in the state. She then went to Marengo, Ohio to compete at the SCTP national competition, and she shot her personal best, 119 straight, and then shot a total of 199 out of 200, which placed her third in the nation in the ladies division. She, as you see the picture on the left there, she brought home what we call the Rudy Cup, which is an award we give out to the top trap shooter, male or female, from the state of Tennessee that shoots at the national competition. She's the first female to ever win that honor. And then in October, she was able to harvest this awesome bull elk from 300 yards in Wyoming while on a hunt with the Outdoor Dream Foundation. So all of these are some amazing accomplishments for sure, but the best update came in December when she received a clean checkup from her doctors at St. Jude. So as you can see, she continues to inspire us all. Sometimes I get the question of, why does the Federation run a youth shooting program? I thought you guys mostly focused on conservation across Tennessee, and the Federation's focus on conservation is exactly why we do operate and run a youth sports program. What better way to introduce youth and family and friends and outdoors to the outdoors and conservation? These youth are not the future of conservation, but they are the present, and their children will be the future. And programs like Tennessee SCTP give them the foundation and the understanding of conservation. And also they participate currently, those are generating funds through the Pittman-Robertson Act and other similar programs for conservation efforts that you commissioners are now overseeing. And we have to stay diligent with our efforts to develop the next generation of outdoors men, women, shooting sports enthusiasts, like you just saw with Emily. And the current decline did not happen overnight, and we can't fix it overnight. But the decisions and actions taken 15 years ago between the Commission and the Federation have helped shape Tennessee SCTP into one of the most successful shooting sports programs in the country, and I want to personally thank you for your continued support there. Your support has directly impacted and changed thousands of lives. In fact, 3 of you commissioners have gone out of your way to support Tennessee SCTP. Commissioner Sanders, a longtime friend for over 30 years of the Federation, has played an integral part with his connections and friends of the NRA, helping teams and provide grants for teams all across the state every year. Commissioner McLaren is also a volunteer coach and a father of the program. And Commissioner Box, who is not able to be here today, also helped start a new team in Jackson. So thank you all for each of your support. I saw a statement in an article by Mark Duda in Responsive Management that said, in addition to wildlife and habitat conservation, the ripple effect of sportsmen's dollars has a significant impact on community and economic development. As you can see, even on our logo, it sits on top of that ripple effect. We continually strive to work together with others to produce effects that spread and produce further effects. And seeing that statement from Mark Duda got me thinking about Tennessee SCTP and what other events have occurred, or what is the true ripple effect of Tennessee SCTP. So first we'll look at some direct ripples. Thousands of youth have now taken hunter's education and can safely handle firearms and are proficient at hitting moving targets. And hundreds of certified coaches help teach and mentor these youth and teach them critical life skills such as mental focus, persistence, teamwork, and leadership. Teaching our youth a sport they can participate in for a lifetime and surround them with some great role models. Literally tens of thousands of dollars are spent every year on firearms and ammo and targets, which a portion of those dollars come right back to support the state. Now I want to talk about a few additional ripples that Tennessee SCTP has helped create. Immediate family members, parents and siblings, or extended family like grandparents, aunts, uncles, friends and family, neighbors are all now aware of shooting sports and possibly even getting involved themselves or purchasing equipment for participants. And due to the high demand and popularity, existing shooting ranges are expanding. And we're building new ranges across the state, like you heard from yesterday with Lone Oaks, or Buffalo Ridge, or Crossville, or Greene County that just got completed. College scholarships are now available for participants from several colleges across the country, including 2 right here in Tennessee with Bethel and Martin Methodist. And there's been other shooting programs like AIM and 10 Yes that have all been created due to the high demand and popularity of Tennessee SCTP. Again, furthering the sport and adding additional enthusiasts. There's expanded career opportunities. A lot of the participants can go on to be instructors and coaches, range managers, gun fitters. Another hunting and fishing academy is a second program offering that began right in Tennessee SCTP and is now available to the public that focuses on getting youth and parents into the outdoors. And I would like to invite all of you to next weekend is our annual Davis P. Rice Youth Waterfowl Hunt in Dyersburg, Tennessee. We'll have about 120 youth out that weekend over about 17 blinds across West Tennessee. So that'll be next Friday night at Dyersburg. We'd love to have you there. Hunting and Fishing Academy is also starting a pilot in the spring that will target adults and millennial age participants. This program is working closely with Jennifer Wisniewski and her team to really work and fight the current decline of sportsmen and women across the state. So as you can see, it's really amazing how many ripples are spreading across the pond, all because of 3 main ingredients. And those are 1, dedicated funding, 2, a great volunteer base, and 3rd, engaged partners that all work together towards a common goal. And in my opinion, the Commission and TWA are really the stone that helped create all of these ripples across the pond. Today we have another special guest, Miss Emma Williams, that's going to speak for a couple minutes about her journey through SCTP and how it really laid the groundwork to help her achieve many of her dreams that are coming true. She's a great ambassador of the program and a great role model for our youth to look up to. Miss Emma?
So I was sitting in my speech class the other day in college, and my professor told me something that really stuck with me. He said, when you get up to give a speech, you have butterflies. And as the speech goes by, you don't really get rid of the butterflies, but they seem to fly more in formation. So I'm going to try to get mine in formation pretty quick for you guys. But when I was in 3rd grade, my brother and I were outside flying a kite in the backyard. And we were just having fun, you know, being kids, and I started walking down the hill towards our cow pasture. And as I got down the hill, I turned around to talk to him, and he said, turn around. So as soon as I did, I caught the barbed wire fence right under my right eye. And it luckily hit the bone instead of anything more important. So I used the little scar, which is covered by dark circles and bags right now because of college. I use that as my reminder that I was born for something, and I think I'm on the right track. And I'm a firm believer that everyone has something that they love to do more than anything else. And for me, I think that is clay target shooting. I was introduced to the SCTP program when I was around 10 years old, and my brother got involved with our middle school team. That whole year, I got drug along to his team meetings, practices, and anything else shooting related with my dad and him. And at first, I didn't want to have anything to do with it because I was more interested in gymnastics and softball, and I just was terrified to get knocked on my butt by a shotgun. But they taught me into it because that's what they wanted more than anything else, was for the whole family to be involved. So my dad bought me my first shotgun that year at Sparta, Illinois at the Grand American Shoot, and I started shooting in 6th grade. And I've been doing it for about 11 years now. But as soon as I took my first shot, I almost got kicked on my butt, but I knew I was in love. Fast forward a couple of years to 8th grade, and that's when things got kind of crazy. And the Nashville Gun Club became my home 3 hours away from home. I've always dreamt of going to the Olympics. It started out in gymnastics, but I was terrified of the beam, so obviously that didn't work out. And then I went to softball, but they removed softball from the Olympics in 2008. So when the bunker was built at the Nashville Gun Club, my dad had me there within the first few weeks of it being open. I shot my first state junior Olympics that year, and I won the J2 award. So I was hooked. I shot the first PTO match in Nashville and met Chad Wittenberg and the Certified Training Center Tennessee clay target team. If you would have told me then how far I would be today, I probably wouldn't have believed you. I started high school in 2013, and during those 4 years, I was a 4-time member of the Tennessee Scholastic Clay Target Academic All-State Team. I won multiple Tennessee Scholastic Clay Target Program regional and state awards. I began shooting sporting clays and skeet, won 2 Tennessee State Junior Olympic Championships, and became the first girl to do so. Became a member of the National Honor Society and the Vocational Honor Society. Earned a scholarship through the Tennessee Scholastic Clay Target Program. Won the Barton Scholarship Competition at Martin Methodist College, which is their highest academic scholarship, and signed to become a member of the Red Hawk Clay Target Team. And I graduated number 13 in my class. I was also a very active member of USA Shooting throughout high school. And through USA Shooting, I have been a 3-time junior national team member, a 2-time national team member. I have participated in a Grand Prix in Italy, Junior World Cups in Germany and Italy, and Junior World Championships in Russia and South Korea. I think the achievement that I'm most proud of through my shooting, though, is to be a role model and ambassador for the shooting sports. My most long-term goal that goes beyond medals, awards, and the Olympics is to just be a role model for those younger than me and those people who look up to me. And I think putting a smile on someone's face is way more rewarding than any medal or trophy. I've made lifelong friends through shooting and have gotten to connect with so many people. I can only hope to leave a small mark on such a wonderful group. Today, I'm the assistant captain of the 4-time collegiate SCTP national champion Red Hawk Clay Target Team. I have won multiple awards through USA Shooting, ACUI, SCTP, and ISSF. I've been on the president's list at my college for the past 2 semesters, and I have a 3.5 overall GPA. I'm currently in 8th place for the USA Shooting Olympic Team Trials, and I don't think any of that would be possible without my start in the Tennessee Scholastic Clay Target Program. I'm so thankful to this program and all of the people involved. This program is one of the most tight-knit and friendly clay target communities that I've ever been a part of. My involvement in the Tennessee Scholastic Clay Target Program has opened up a world of opportunity for me and introduced me to some of my closest friends and mentors. I'm so grateful and blessed that this path was laid out before me, and I can't wait to see what my future and the future of the Tennessee Scholastic Clay Target Program holds.
I think you can see why the program, and even why I put my daughter is shooting in the program now, to have role models and great people to look up to like Miss Emma. So we're very proud of her, and I would open up now to any questions if any commissioners have.
Thank you, JW. And Emma, I would have a feeling that you're going to have many employers calling you after that speech you just made that are going to want you to work for them when you graduate college. So anyway, that was just awesome. And I can tell by your abilities and your speaking abilities that there's not many other people your age that have the qualities you have. And it's an honor having you as a part of this sport and to represent us and Tennessee Wildlife Federation. There's been a whole lot of dollars put into this program, and it's just awesome seeing young women like you come back, and it's an honor having you here today, and we appreciate it very much. So, Commissioner McLaren.
Thank you.
Well, first off, I'd like to say a guarded thank you to the 2 gentlemen standing behind the microphone. They have cost me thousands upon thousands of dollars. But Emma, I have had the pleasure to watch you compete and watch you grow up, and it's been a blessing, and you've been a mentor to my daughter as well, who's also shooting. So some of these folks can get an idea. Approximately how many cases of ammo do you go through a year?
I think last year I went through almost 30,000 rounds. So
Okay.
I shot almost every day between January and August.
30,000 rounds.
Just her tax dollars is coming back to the state of Tennessee. Yes, sir.
What's your favorite shotgun?
I shoot a Peercy MX8, and I love it to death, so I'm kind of partial to Peercy.
Commissioner Granberry, I knew you would have something to say because of her team. I figured you'd have a shout out to that.
Emma, we're so proud of you at Martin. And in 2012, when we started the program was started not because of what you achieved, because we had no idea that it was attainable. We were just trying to keep young kids in college to get their education, to really advance their lifelong dreams of working and being productive in society. And we had no idea. I'll never forget the breakfast we had over in West Nashville at the Le Peep restaurant, and there was a bunch of enthusiasts about gun. We were all talking about it, and Jeff Bain was so enthusiastic. And the original coach, I forget his name, died tragically in the very beginning, and then we brought Chad in. But, you know, to sit at the board meetings and to think that we're 4-time national champions because of people like you, and you know, Jeff Bain is just so enthusiastic about everything. And it's just so important. You know, at Martin, 52% of our kids are first-timers. They've never been to college. They're first-timers in their entire family to ever go to school. And we have about a 70% retention loss factor. So they come first semester, they decide, well, I'm going to go back and work with my dad or my uncle or whatever, and they don't finish their education. But now with a program like this and what you've achieved, it just shows you what can be done, and it keeps these kids and coming to school and wanting to be on a team and achieving these great. So we're so proud of you at Martin, and I wish you'd come speak to our board meeting next month.
We also have another great shooter that's on, I think, the Olympic path as well. Caleb Lindsay joined us today as well. He's another up-and-coming star on the team as well, so appreciate his efforts.
Any other questions for JW?
Thank you.
Thank you all for coming. Thanks, Emma and Caleb. I wouldn't want to speak after her either, so.
But Caleb can definitely shoot.
All right, I'll ask Kirk Miles to come up. He can answer any questions if anybody has one. I won't even make him talk. Yesterday, John Mike, our Region 4 Wildlife Program Coordinator, presented a budget expansion in the amount of $210,000 for the North Cumberland OHV project. Do I hear a motion?
Mr. Chairman, the Budget Committee met yesterday and bring forth as a motion the budget expansion as listed.
Okay. Do I hear a second? Second from McLaren. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, like sign. Thank you, Kirk.
Thank you, sir, for making it so easy. And Emma, A+.
All right, I'm going to skip order just a little bit. I'm going to call on Commissioner Sanders, who, in my opinion, has come up with an excellent idea. He wants to present it to the commission. It will be in the form of a motion, if I understood it right. So it'll probably be a long explanation with a short motion maybe afterwards.
Something to that effect, yeah. This idea, thank you, Mr. Chairman, this idea came to me over the last couple of years as I've been on the commission and I've gone around and I've met people and then talking to other commissioners and listened to some of the stories they met people that they've met. And what I'm proposing and the reasoning behind it is I want to propose what I'm going to call the Tennessee Fish and Wildlife Commission Legacy Award. And two things that kind of sparked me to do this, besides seeing Director Carter getting all kinds of awards over the last year and stuff, Ron and all the work he did with Quail Forever, and I feel like we should do something very similar. I read a story, I was made aware of a story about a guy who just advertised to take some kid hunting for the first time. And he took this kid hunting, got the first deer, all great. But then at the bottom of the story, it was like, if you've never taken a kid hunting, this is the 10th year I've done this. This is awesome. And I'm like, wow, that is pretty cool. Then I was out walking my dog on one of our WMAs, and I ran into somebody that was buried up in a creek picking up trash. And I just got talking to him. And every month for the last 10 years, they've been coming to this WMA just picking up trash. no fanfare, no glory, no nothing, just walking through the creek, picking up the trash. And so this person told me that they probably picked up over 250 bags of trash out of creeks running through our WMAs. And so it kind of sparked me to do this. And so what I want to do, like I said, is to establish the Tennessee Fish and Wildlife Commission Legacy Award to recognize someone that has contributed, promoted to the legacy of the outdoors that we've all been so honored to be able to oversee, along with all the great people of this agency. Kind of 4 little points that I think is how I've got it envisioned, but this is just my vision, and we can do it any way we want to. Each commissioner can make 1 nomination per year of a person's organization for this award. The nomination should be submitted by the end of February each year. The winner will be selected from the nominations by the leadership of the commission, so the chairman, vice chair, and secretary, as well as 1 former commissioner from each of the 4 divisions of the state. All right, so it'll be completely, selected by the commission. And then the award to be presented at the May meeting. Whatever we decide to make that award, a plaque, whatever we decide to do, but that be presented at the May meeting. And the reason I chose the May meeting, number 1, is it's going into the next year, the next hunting season, the fishing, or whatever somebody's doing. But also, it's also one of the most watched meetings we have with season settings and things like that. So I want people to see that there are people out there that are getting nothing for what they're doing, and then we're going to recognize them a little bit for that effort. So, long, drawn-out motion, but that's what my motion is.
Do I have a second first? All right, I have a second from McLaren. First off, I want to say, great idea, in my opinion. And thanks for taking some thought out of it for us. But has anybody got any questions? Commissioner Granberry?
Would it be appropriate to backstop the award with some sort of a scholarship that the recipient gets to direct towards a youth and maybe the programs that we have? Just a thought.
I don't think we can do the scholarship part.
Okay. That answers that.
Yeah. Any other questions? One question for clarification. Who would decide those 4 has-beens?
I think I said former commissioners. I didn't call them has-beens since I am on the way to
It's what
becoming
they call
a has-been.
themselves. I'm just using the word they use.
I
Right,
understand.
Jim? Is that what they call themselves?
My thoughts.
Get back on, then you're retread.
So, Mr. Chairman, my thought would be that the chairman of the commission makes those appointments just like any other committee that they make.
Okay. All right.
Are we talking about this year?
I would think that would be great if we wanted to, and it's not something that has to be done every year. But I do think if we can, it's a short notice, obviously. Maybe the chairman can give us till March to get this, something submitted. But I think it'd be great if we could do it this year.
All right, let's shoot for this year, and we got a month. I think the first year everybody's I think we all have got somebody that we know. I think the problem may be picking that one person for each commissioner instead of, you can narrow it down to 3 or 4 pretty easy, but then it gets kind of tough. Anybody got any more questions or comments? Director Carter, you good with this? Yeah. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion carried. Joe, yesterday I should have recognized or said more, but I think we were so in depth in Chuck and the son-in-law and the father-in-law issue, I forgot. But anyway, your staff, along with, I know Cape Taylor's in here, him and Darren, their law enforcement staff. And I do want to single out Region 1, but it's not just Region 1. It's your staff from statewide, it's law enforcement from statewide, it's Nashville. The job you guys have done on CWD, whether it be disposal, enforcement, Jennifer, you're in on this as well, is unreal, actually. Jason Maxedon, who's here today, I don't know if all of you've got to meet him, Region 1 Program Manager. Jason, you came in, probably thought this job was going to be not too much different than what you were used to, just managing more people. But what a surprise you got, especially this year when the landfill's backed out. But you deserve a high five, and I'm completely serious. I've known you for a long time. It's not a surprise to me in the job you've done, but I think to many others that don't know you, they're amazed. And I've heard many people compliment you, and you deserve a shout out. And I'm very proud of the job you've done in our region. With CWD, I've heard Director Carter say the same thing. But job well done, Joe, Jason, Kirk, Kate, to everybody that's been involved with that. You guys have tackled some just unexpected issues that you can't plan for. We had a plan in place, thank goodness, but that plan didn't have all this in it. So, because we didn't expect it. But thank you for the job you've done. All right, I've got to appoint a nominating committee to come up with officer selection. They'll come to us at the Friday meeting of the February meeting with their recommendation. I'm going to appoint Tony Sanders as chairman, Jimmy Granberry, and Tommy Woods. You are the lucky three. So we'll meet afterwards and come up with a plan. Has anybody got anything else to say? Any other words? Director Carter? All right. If not, everyone have a safe trip home. You're adjourned.